Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Paradigm Paradox. Going to wrap up Tokyo's route today. And we are going to get our other endings and stuff like that. So we are going to start with the normal ending, and then we will continue. What? What's the matter? Bird is being very bizarre right now. So anyway, so we cast Augment, which is still good. What? You gotta do what? Let me back you up. I'll cast Augment first. I already nodded in agreement. Thanks. If you cast Augment, then I'll use Hypnosis. Sure, that should end things quicker. I feel like, is this gonna be like, with Ayumu where, Tokyo doesn't come back and it stays as Kaori forever, because that's kind of sad. That's not a normal ending. That's kind of a bad ending, I feel like. But anyway, here goes! Okay. What's the matter? You gotta go potties? You gotta go potties? Come on. Anyway, this is, of course I'll help. All right, so. Now we're going to explain. Are you gotta go potties or what? Are you sure? You're acting very fidgety right now for some bizarre reason. You gotta go. Okay, fine. But if you poop on me, I swear to God, I'll be... Bird. He was getting a little fidgety. And because he's been sitting with me for a little while. But he won't go. I don't know what his deal is. What is your fucking problem right now, Bird? Well, that sums it up. I'm gonna go to the research district. And I'd like y'all to come with me. If you agree with my plan, that is. The next day after school, Tokyo gathered all of us, Seina, Mocha, Ayumu, the commander, Rio, and myself, to explain his plan. Seina and Mocha were clearly shaken after they heard about what had been happening, but the more Tokyo revealed, the angrier they got. I must say, that is the last straw. I shall never fight Vectors again. Same here. It's awful you didn't tell us, Commander. I'm sorry. Thought I was protecting you, but I was really just a coward. Jesus, phone. Holy fuck. Why is my phone so motherfucking loud? Holy shit. Anyway. Oh, god damn it. God damn it. Stupid fucking phone. Son of a bitch. I'm just trying to fucking, turn the volume down, and then my fucking camera came on, and then I can't turn my fucking volume down. I'm like, Jesus goddamn Christ. It's like a motherfucking train wreck up in here. Anyway. We're not children anymore. We can make our own decisions. So, Commander, do you also think that what the researchers are doing is wrong? I couldn't believe that the Commander and Rio would side with the researchers, but I had to check. Yes, but I didn't have the courage to stop them. I also didn't think it was the opportune moment. What better time than now? That's what Spacey and I think, at least. Commander, you actually set the stage for this. You sent us to Iota and we came to the decision after what happened there. So everything has come to a head now. That's right. Commander, Rio, neither of you object to going to the research district then. It's interesting that we're this is the same, it's not the same conversation, but it's a similar one. I need both of you with us. I don't think we'll be able to handle the researchers on our own. They're too cunning. Your support would be a great help. I can at least count on you for that, right? Of course. I wouldn't let you guys go by yourselves. Rio, are you okay with this? I am. Once the two of them agreed, we headed out to the research district. Ayumu and I transformed along the way. Tokyo's powers were fading, so he was the only one of us who didn't transform. I just didn't know if any of this was going to be different or the same, but he said he'd transform if necessary, but that would only happen if we had to use our powers against the researchers. I hope it doesn't come to that, and we can just talk things through. I didn't want to fight anyone anymore, whether they be Vectors or humans. That's the whole reason we were on this mission. Okay, so he's not gonna use hypnosis like this? The commander took the lead after we passed through the command center. After walking a while longer, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. An elderly researcher stood before us. Other assistants I met during the test stopped what they were doing and looked at us curiously. Oh, hello. What brings you here today?
I don't believe we had any tests scheduled.
You're up, Tokio.
Got it.
Tokio stepped forward and began speaking in a quiet yet commanding voice.
I know about all you've been doing. I want you to stop creating vectors. Your research isn't for the betterment of humanity. It's just to satisfy your own curiosity and vanity. Isn't that right?
I was wondering what you were going to say. Kuromori, your lack of discipline disappoints me. You came all this way just to have some child spout off nonsense? How terribly pathetic.
The head researcher ignored Tokio completely and turned to the commander. It was clear from his disdainful demeanor that he viewed us as nothing more than babbling children. We weren't the ones who decided to speak to you. The commander didn't put us up. We're the ones. Sorry, not we aren't. We're the ones who decided to speak to you. The commander didn't put us up to it, and it certainly isn't nonsense. The whole point of your work was to save humanity. Look what it's turned into. You've been so obsessed with your research that you've lost your own sense of humanity. The old man glared at me sharply as I argued my point.
Big talk from a group that's basically a bunch of glorified exterminators.
What an inane statement from someone who's supposed to be a respected researcher. Exterminators? So that's how you view us? If we're exterminators, then what does that make you? It's high time you stop playing God. What a horrible person. I didn't think he wouldn't listen at all. I bit my lip in annoyance at how cavalierly he dismissed us. The commander stepped forward. It's true they're still young and perhaps a little naive. But they're not wrong. At least not as wrong as you are.
You dare defy me?
The elderly researcher drew himself up when the commander took our side. The other assistants stood up as well. You could cut the tension in the room with a knife. I steeled myself for the worst. Are we gonna have to fight?
Misaki, I think a retreat is in order.
Yes. It's not right to let them fight.
I don't want to drag everyone into a battle. Hypnosis will make quick work of it. I can do this alone.
The head researcher grew nervous when he heard their quiet exchange.
You aren't suggesting attacking us with your powers, are you? Perhaps I went too far earlier. There's no need to use those dangerous powers against other people.
He clearly was afraid of our powers, but in truth, we didn't want to use them. We relaxed our guard slightly, and the researcher continued.
What say we strike a deal?
What kind of deal?
There's evidence that some of the vectors possess human-level consciousness, correct? Especially one of them. If you defeat their leader, we'll quit our genetic experiments.
Leader? He must mean Moravia. Okay, so this is like when we sent Ayamu out to go kill fucking Hyuga. On the surface, it was a good deal since we only had to defeat Moravia. But could we really do it knowing the truth of how the vectors came to be?
Defeat their leader, huh? The thing is, we won't fight the vectors anymore. What we can do is talk to them and get them to stop attacking Theta. That's the only deal we'll accept.
Tokio voiced the exact thing I've been worrying about.
I think your way will be much more arduous, but if the vectors stop attacking Theta, so much the better. Very well, I accept your conditions.
Surprisingly, he agreed quickly and without further complaint. The other researchers maintained their composure as well. I mean, this seems like too easy. Like, hey, you better stop or I'll use powers on you. All right, I'm fine. But ask Marat, but you better defeat that vector. What if we just ask her to stop? Will be a truth. You stop attacking us. We'll stop making new vectors. Everything's cool. And like, all right, cool. And then they're going to be like, all right, cool. And it's like over and you're like, that doesn't... That's all it took? You know what I mean? Just feels a little sus is all I'm saying. They probably don't think we'll succeed, but we'll show them. I mean, that's why, I'm sure, but like... You know what I mean? It's bizarre, but... A few days later, our biggest problem was figuring out how to contact Moravia, but the commander and Rio solved that issue for us. Well, we know Rio's on that side. I had my doubts at first because they wouldn't tell us how they managed it, but Moravia did show and stood before us now. They told her we didn't want to fight and only wanted to talk, so she agreed to meet and came to Theta by herself.
You might already know, but I wanted to tell you who I am before we begin. I'm Kaori. I haven't transformed, so I hope you'll see that we have no intention to fight. I'm sure you've heard the gist of things, but we struck a deal with the researchers. I'll stop their research if you all stop attacking Theta.
I see. Have you begun to sympathize with us now that you know the truth? Moravia posed the question as if it were a test, but Tokyo shook his head.
It's not about sympathy. Just think it's a meaningless fight. We have to kill our friends because they turned into vectors after being attacked. It was painful to do, but our friends who turned had it far worse. I couldn't save them when we had to take them down. It was our only choice. But I recently discovered how the vectors came about in the first place, and that got me thinking. If no more vectors are created, then we could prevent any further tragedies. None of the vectors choose to become one. Not the people who were attacked, nor those made through genetic engineering. I don't know if the vectors still have feelings, but they might not want to hurt humans. And if that's the case, then what's the point of all this fighting when no one wants to do it in the first place?
So that's why you said it was meaningless. Moravia nodded as if convinced.
I don't know why you're fighting with the vectors, but you probably don't want them to keep getting killed. Therefore, we should be able to find a way to stop all this violence. If neither of us wants to continue hurting vectors...
Moravia turned to face Tokyo as she listened. And do you have any proof you're telling the truth? And even though Hyuga and Yukonami aren't here, they'll want to know as well.
I don't know if this is technically proof, but I want to show you something I've been holding on to.
I gasped when I saw what it was glittering in his outstretched palm. Tokyo, that's...
Yeah, it's Taiki's flower crystal. I know you saw it too. This came from the friend I had to kill. I swear on this crystal that everything I've said is the truth. Do you still not trust me?
Moravia looked back and forth between the flower crystal and Tokyo, and she fell silent for a while. All right, you may be speaking the truth, but what about the researchers? I highly doubt they'll stop creating vectors. I still don't fully trust them either. Their cutting words and disdainful looks flashed through my mind. I had the same opinion of them that Moravia did. But still, we're not asking you to have faith in the researchers. We're asking you to have faith in us. If they go back on their word, we'll stop them.
Spacey's right.
Moravia gazed at me quietly for a while, and I stared back, waiting for her response. Eventually, she laughed. I wouldn't take your word for it if this was all lip service, but I can tell that's not the case. Fine, I'll stop attacking Theta, but only temporarily. I'll wait 1 year. If the researchers break their promise during that time, the deal's off.
Well, that sounds fair to me.
Tokyo agreed, and Moravia smiled and turned to leave. Well then, I'll be seeing you. And with that, Moravia disappeared. It was all over so quickly that it almost felt too easy. I heard footsteps behind me and turned to see Mocha and the others running up to us. They'd been standing guard. So you think we can actually trust Moravia and all of them? True. Moravia's side. What about Hyuga and Yukonami?
I believe her. From what I've seen, Hyuga can't go against Moravia's wishes. Besides, we're much more like them than the researchers. That's what I think, anyway.
I know what you mean. The head researcher called our powers dangerous. Thinking back, it's similar to the way they all describe the vectors as something alien. If that's how they see us, then I suppose we're more like the vectors. So what do we do now? Should we think of a way to keep an eye on the researchers?
I've been thinking about that. I believe I can provide them with something more interesting than genetic research. I just need to make a groundbreaking discovery. Then I'll be appointed to a position higher than them.
And what's this groundbreaking discovery? Oh, I know. You're gonna make the environment livable again, right?
Correct. That's what I was researching in the first place.
Would it be possible to use our powers for that? Augment, foresight, sap? Those don't have anything to do with the environment, though.
I can figure something out. Might as well give it a shot.
They all began to brainstorm ideas on how to prove the situation outside. Though I was sure the reality would be much different than how we imagined it. Let's do it together.
We will.
I know I can overcome anything as long as I'm with Tokyo. It's the one thing I have faith in, without a doubt. Okay. Save file 2 is bad end 3. Okay. So our main bad end. And then, are you Kaori? Tokyo, are you Kaori? I asked him directly, so nothing would be left unclear.
You're really straightforward, you know.
Sorry. I immediately apologized because Tokyo had sighed, seemingly annoyed.
Why are you apologizing? You're right.
I'm right? Wait, what?
Why do you sound surprised? You're the one who figured it out. Yeah, I'm Kaori.
I'm gonna guess that can't be the only wrong answer we do. Because this is like way back in the beginning. Oh wait, this one has a skip to next choice, doesn't it? Yos. Okay. Nope. Cast augment for support. Mention collecting soil. Okay, so here we go. I thought of Tokio's conversation with Mr. Kuramori. I hope you'll be able to get some good soil samples.
Oh, right. Well, we have to protect the supply transport first.
She was definitely right about that. Yeah, let's hurry then. Pulse. Suggest a secret handshake, I'm assuming? Yeah, okay. How about coming up with a secret handshake? I said the first thing that popped into my mind, but immediately regretted how childish it was. Judging by her expression, Kaori thought the same.
You know the commander would tease us mercilessly if he ever got word of this. You have to make sure he never finds out.
I won't say anything. It's a silly idea anyway. I know. How about we just shake hands?
Well, that sounds okay, I guess.
Once she agreed, I held out my right hand. Alrighty, here we go. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. And then cast augment. We cast augment multiple times. So this time we cast augment again. Okay. If we need to handle them before everyone wakes up, it'll go faster if I cast augment.
Can you cast augment? Then I can use hypnosis on all of them and we'll finish them off while they're confused.
Kaori apparently had the exact same thought. I immediately grabbed her outstretched hand. We've got this. Okay. And then we cast augment for support. Okay. I won't run. I'm with you all the way. My determination came across loud and clear.
Fine, but I'm gonna take him down. Just cast augment on me.
Kaori's voice, Tokio's voice, was shot through with its own pain determination. All right. And then we say, I was also thinking of Taiki, yeah. Well, Taiki was turning into a vector, so of course I was thinking of him as well. But my main concern was that you would suffer because of it. So yeah, I was thinking more about you than Taiki in that moment. But we were still thinking of him, but we were thinking also of somebody else. So, you know what I mean? So that's definitely like the bad choice. I need more details. What do you want me to do? I'd like to hear about it first. Well, I questioned him energetically, and Tokio took a moment to think about it. Oh, we get a CG with this one. I don't like that.
Well, I can tell you, but...
Okay. We're just going to let it skip now, because now we're going to see where it goes. So, okay, he's explaining everything to Ayumu and I. Okay.
I intend to put a stop to the researchers' experiments.
After school the next day, Tokio disclosed his plan to Seina and Mocha. I believe nothing could surprise me anymore, but this is quite unbelievable. You're telling me? So all the people ordering us to defeat the Vectors were the ones creating them?
That's right.
And you wish for us to come along.
But will they even listen to you?
I don't think it's gonna work, even if all of us tell them to stop.
I know I just told you everything, but I was planning to go it alone.
What?
You didn't say anything about that yesterday.
Ayumu was just as shocked as I was. He moved towards Tokio to question him more.
You said you tried to get the commander and Rio to help you. What made you change your mind? I got the feeling they'd try and stop me. They'd say it's too dangerous. And then surely... But I'm not gonna just give up. I don't mind doing it myself, but it feels wrong to drag everyone into a dangerous situation. I don't want my plan to put you all at risk.
Then why'd you call us here?
I wanted someone to know the truth in case anything happened to me. You're all directly involved, so you should know about what the researchers are doing. I also wanted you to know what I'm gonna do. You're free to do whatever you want now that you know the truth. I want you to think of yourselves first. I told you yesterday I couldn't just stand by. Why are you pushing us away?
Indeed, why must you do this? You claim you don't want to put us in danger, but we feel the same way about you.
I appreciate that. I guess we are a team after all.
Tokio smiled warmly at us, and despite everything, we knew there was nothing more to say. Tokio wasn't going to change his mind, no matter who tried to stop him.
Yeah, that's something you need to do, Ayamu. I'm sure Sena and Mocha do too.
What about me? I can come with you, right? Just say the word and I'll go. Much like Tokio, I wasn't going to back down. I don't know about everyone else's circumstances, but my top priority was assisting Tokio with this plan.
I'm most worried about you, Spacey. That's why I can't.
We carry the same burden, Tokio. Let me help you. I interrupted him and argued my case fervently. Tokio just sighed and finally gave in.
All right, we'll do this together.
We headed to the research district and said we needed to speak with the genetic engineers. We were then led to a room deep inside the lab.
Are you the principal investigator?
We stood in front of an elderly researcher who nodded in response to our question.
Yes, that's right, and you're our third-generation psychics. You said you wanted to speak about our research into genetic engineering, but I'm afraid I haven't the foggiest idea what you mean.
The researcher pretended not to understand, but Tokio just responded to him quietly.
There's no point in hiding it any longer. You genetically engineered the vectors and are now getting us killed. And now getting us to kill them in order to hide that fact. We know everything.
You can't keep doing this. It needs to stop.
I see. I didn't know how you figured it all out, but you're clearly a threat.
We didn't shake him at all. He backed us into a corner, shouting incomprehensible directions to his assistants.
Take these two and bring them to the detention rooms.
Yes, sir. Suddenly, we found ourselves surrounded by lab assistants. Tokio!
We have to transform. Looks like the peaceful approach isn't gonna work. We got no choice but to settle this by force.
It's no use, my boy. You know you won't use your powers against us. It appears the reports were correct. You can't fight the Vectors after finding out what they truly are. How incredibly naive. I hardly doubt you'll be able to harm other humans.
We had no intention of backing down, but in the end we hesitated for a split second, which gave the researchers an opportunity to grab us. How long has it been? They separated me from Tokio and locked me in a room by myself. No idea how much time had passed. I strained my ears to see if I could hear anything, and eventually heard footsteps approaching. Tokio, thank goodness! You're all right! Relief washed over me, but Tokio just moved toward me without saying a word. What did they do to him? What's wrong? You've been let go, so doesn't that mean everyone came to help? I thought it was a good sign he was here, but Tokio didn't answer my questions. He just untied my restraints and kneeled in front of me.
I'm sorry it had to happen this way.
You don't have to apologize. It's partly my fault that things didn't go well. Did you manage to sneak in? Let's run while we can. I can use my powers to break us out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Tokio nodded and handed over the transformation charm they'd confiscated from us. I felt better that he'd agreed to my plan and took it without suspecting a thing.
Spacey, I want you to cast Augment on me.
Huh? But aren't you going to transform?
I can still use some of my powers when I'm like this. I actually don't have the strength to transform anymore. I'm asking you, please.
He's gonna hypnotize himself into forgetting me, isn't he? Something was off. An alarm went through the back of my mind, but Tokio sounded so earnest I couldn't refuse. All right, I'll do it. There.
Thank you.
Hey, what? Everything went dark at that moment. Oh my god, he's using it on me? Tokio reached out and covered my eyes, and then the world started spinning. And this is our CG, and it just looks so sad.
I loved you, Spacey. Did you know that?
Tokio's voice was filled with sorrow as he whispered in my ear. Tokio? Why do you sound so sad? I'm happy to hear you say that. I struggled to fight my fading consciousness. I then finally realized what was happening to me. Tokio must have used hypnosis on me. But why? I wanted to ask him.
I care more about your life than my feelings. So I'll seal them away. My feelings for you and your memory. What I charged wasn't my usual hypnosis power. It was a wish for her happiness, which I then entrusted to her. And after that, I snuffed out my first feelings of love.
I was really hoping we were just gonna die. Because that's actually tragic and awful, and I hate that. Unfortunately, I do remember what happened so far, Tokyo. How dare you? Jesus. Save file 1 is bad ending 1. Okay. Let her go. I'll probably just cause more trouble if I go after her. Our earlier exchange weighed so heavily on my mind that I couldn't move. The day's mission was complete, so we were dismissed, but nothing had been resolved. A few days later, we faced the Vectors yet again, and as always, their numbers continued to grow. I have to focus on the mission. I absolutely can't cause any more trouble for them. Though I told myself that, a part of me knew I still hadn't come to terms with my issues. And when I caught sight of a Vector barreling toward me, it was already too late. Ah! Move! The Vector was right on top of me. Not good. I can't avoid it. But right as I braced myself for the Vector's claws to strike... Ugh. Kaori jumped in front of me and took the blow instead. Kaori, no! Blood poured from her wound, reminding me of when Lizzie had fallen. Kaori, are you all right? I tried to help Kaori up as her blood stained my hands and seeped into my clothes. It's all my fault that she's... At this rate, she'll die. I knew I needed to stop the bleeding, but my hands were shaking uncontrollably. I then heard Kaori whisper something. Her voice strained as if she was pleading.
My turn. I must defeat.
She reached out her hand to me. What are you trying to say? My mind was a mess, but I held Kaori's hand and tried to understand. Then her hand began to shift into a distorted shape. It was a nightmare. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't think that they would be able to shift because I got attacked and got my magical abilities. And Ayumu got attacked, got cut, and they never said anything about it. So the fact that Kaori gets attacked and now is transforming into a Vector almost instantly is really weird. You know what I mean? Because, yes, they've set up, when people get scratched or attacked by a Vector, they turn into one. Sure. But they didn't keep that consistent because Ayumu got scratched. In one of the other one, when she was being a bitch. Well, as Haruka, right? And didn't turn whatever. And I mean, sure, it was less, I think it's the more damage. I'm guessing, a little scratch was going to take longer to set in versus claws right through you type of a thing. Sure. But they never said anything about, I guess they couldn't have, because if you did Ayumu's route and you did all the Bloom routes before you went down Yukonami and Hyuga, you wouldn't know about the antidote or whatever, they gave to Lizzie or whatever. We don't find out about that technically until those. So, but it is weird because they kind of Ayumu got attacked and they never mentioned anything, and now this. So if you hadn't played the Vector routes, you'd be like, why did she not turn, but Kaori's turning in the bad ending, and that seems like a loophole. I guess until you go down it, and then you realize that, okay, Ryo gave Ayumu antidote or whatever, but it's strange. Anyway, I knew what was about to happen. I'd seen it before, but there was nothing I could do to stop it. All I could do was accept my fate as the Vector's claws came down upon me. So, in that, it almost implies that Kaori tried to save us, turned into a Vector, and then killed us. Alright, okay. Alright, okay. Bad End late save file 3. Okay, and this is now Bad End 2, and this is our last one. Yes, run away. If I have to run, then you do too! But you can't stay here! At this rate, Tokyo would suffer the same way that I did that day. I had to prevent that from happening at all costs. Let's go! Kaori remained hesitant, so I grabbed her hand and started running. We didn't look back and tore through Iota frantically. No one was around, perhaps because they'd been evacuated. We just continued to run and run. Kaori stopped once we reached the outside.
I can't go any further. I have to go back.
But I couldn't watch Tokio suffer. Right when I was about to explain that, a deep voice rang out behind us.
Done running like little chickens now? Hyuga! You just took off, abandoning everyone else to their fate. You got some nerve. You make me sick. People like you deserve to die.
Kaori! I whipped around when I heard Kaori cry out. A Vector stood right behind her and had just grabbed her neck. Let Kaori go! I swung at the Vector wildly, but it didn't even flinch. It tightened its hand around her neck. Oh, that's worse than like clawing her to death. It's choking her slowly. Stop! Let her go! I boosted my punches and kicks, but it was no use. It had an iron grip on Kaori and refused to let go. Could it be Taiki?
Run!
Kaori managed to get that one word out, and hearing her pained voice almost made me lose it. That was when I stopped paying attention to what was going on around me. Suddenly, something heavy struck me from behind.
Time for both of you to die.
I collapsed to the ground. The Vector lifted Kaori up by the neck, strangling her. Kaori, Tokio. In the end, I couldn't save anyone. I felt nothing but deep regret as pain washed over me.
You gotta go potties?
Do you gotta go potties? You're getting very fidgety and you're driving me bonkers, Bird.
I need you to go. I'm gonna turn the light on. You gotta go potties?
You're driving me crazy. You're getting very fidgety. I know you gotta go potties.
I know you do. You've been sitting with me for at least 30 minutes.
Come on. Oh, that's not right. That's not the one I wanted to go to. I want to go here. Come on. Good boy. Thank you. Jesus, took you long enough. Shit or get off the pot, Bird. Trying to get off the pot. No, I want you to take a poops. Trying to do it all like, okay, get the birdie bathrooms, and nobody will know, but like, no, you gotta like sit there and be a drama bird. Anyway, we read past 1, we had 2, 3, and we already read 4, I think. Yeah.
Alright, let's just wrap up today's practice sessions, shall we?
I'm exhausted. I think I'll go home and do that thing. The commander asked me to get it finished ASAP.
Yeah, we better get started.
Well, the commander said we should record it once we've decided. We can make a short video. Yeah, it should be plenty. And by decide, he means the names of all of our special moves and catchphrases, right? By the way, what does he mean by catchphrases?
I have no idea. Maybe it's like when superheroes face off against an enemy and say something cool before they start kicking butt. Like in the movies.
Oh, I see. So maybe we should all act like movie superheroes, too? Perhaps. The commander said to make it something that strikes fear into the hearts of bad guys and gives hopes to the downtrodden.
But nobody sees you fighting, so what is the point? I think he's just fucking with them.
That sounds pretty catchphrasey to me. Maybe we should use that. Drown in hope, not fear. What you think?
That's way too direct. Plus it sounds weird. In the movies, the members of superhero groups introduce themselves by names, right?
You sure know your movies, Mihaya. One by one, huh? Alright, let's start with Tokio.
What?
Why me? You always make the first move in training. You got real leader energy, so I thought you might be the best one to go first.
Oh, I agree. In that case, I'll go second. If you ask me, it's the sidekick who always has the coolest aura.
The coolest aura. That suits Haruka better, I think.
Nah, I'm fine with going last. I'm really more of the bringing up the rear type, so that leaves Mihaya as number 3.
Alright, that's settled. Now what about our catchphrases?
Maybe our group name is fine. You know, the Blooms. That'll be easiest to understand. Let's stick with a flower theme. Flowers of fear.
That sounds kinda unfriendly. Flowers are usually depicted as fresh and pretty, right?
Oh, flowers of hope. How's that? This is so fucking ridiculous. The commander has like got all this. He's recording this whole room right now and he's just pissing himself laughing at how stupid this is and what he made these boys do. He's like, I just like fucking with them.
That sounds great. We'll bring
We bring bright light and color to the people cowering in the shadows of the vectors.
Yeah. The vectors come at night, right? We need some metaphor about the dark.
How about a ray of light piercing the darkness?
Well, that's all starting to come together.
All right, then let's decide who gets to say what. First, Kaori says... Oh my god.
Yeah, it's starting to sound really good. All that remains are the names of our abilities.
Here's one. Wretched souls of deepest darkness, I've come to aid you with my red sword. Huh? So your special ability conjures a sword? Nope, I just thought it sounded neat.
We're on to something with that red thing. I'll use the phrase crimson flame for mine.
We'll use this flame dust, but that's okay.
Well, that'd suit your ability well.
In that case, for mine...
The four of them never notice. The natural high that came with making battle plans caused them all to forget they were supposed to be recording their conversation. That was the first black mark on their record.
I still think the commander was recording it secretly. And undo transformation. I still can't get used to it. Just feels so cringy somehow.
Put your true self aside when you transform. Let Kamui Saibara slide away for a while. I believe I said this when we first met. You should just think of it as becoming another person.
That doesn't help. It's too difficult. I mean, I'm me. I'm not anybody else. That is why he sounds so weird when he speaks like Sena and does not use any contractions whatsoever. It's awkward and stilted. I struggled it with a little myself. Try switching up your way of speaking or something. It doesn't take much to get into character. I mean, I get it. There's obviously they have girl voices, and they're supposed to have different personalities. I just read them the way they are, but... Although, again, Kaori seemed way more like, okay, go get her, and then Tokio, you're like, totally like... And the only Tokio, like, we had was in one of these little side conversations where we're like, he is just totally a robot. But, like, Kaori doesn't come across like that, so it is funny.
Huh, interesting. If you're going down that road, why not totally change your personality along with your way of speaking?
Sounds like a good plan. If you change all your characteristics, it'll be easier to think of yourself as someone else entirely.
Change my characteristics? Feminine instead of masculine? Well, I could be like a proper fancy lady. Well, it's a good start. Do you really think you need to go to such extremes, though?
Look, let me give you some advice as someone who's transformed repeatedly. Just throw in some fancy words here and there, it'll make you seem high class.
Indeed, I say, shall, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
If you're gonna be a proper young lady, remember to run hot and cold. And don't forget to keep using those snooty words. I think I get it, I mean, why, I never. I do not wish to speak with you, sir. Yeah, I think I got it.
For all the advice Ayamu's been given, he's barely as much changed his voice, though.
You changed yours quite a lot, Tokio. You come off as much more straightforward and proactive than your usual self.
I don't intentionally change it. I just want to wrap up the mission quickly and go home. Maybe that's why I sound like that.
You know, that makes sense. It's why you're always straight and to the point. So why don't you change, Ayamu?
Well, at first I also changed my speech and personality, thinking it was a good idea.
Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you?
But when I wrote out all my new catchphrases and personality quirks so as not to forget them, I got so bored with writing everything down. In the end, I decided it'd be easier just to keep quiet.
I never noticed. Classic Ayamu move, though. You always were a fan of detailed lists.
Yeah, I chart out all sorts of phrases to use when speaking with different people. Before I knew it, I'd wasted a week just writing the stuff out.
That's a lot. If it was me, I think I'd have given up partway too.
Yeah, I really went overboard.
Tokio's daily life.
That's a good result. But I need some more data.
Takano, I knew you'd be here.
Yikes!
I love it when he's in glasses with his little hair clips.
You've been skipping classes again, haven't you? Gonna have you fail if this keeps up. I'm gonna have to fail you if this keeps up, wow.
But I'm turning in all my assignments.
Doesn't matter, your attendance is too low. If you continue skipping classes, I'll have to revoke your right to research here.
I mean, you'll take this place away.
That's right.
What if I got 100% in all subjects in the next exams? Could that get me the credits for my classes?
All subjects? I understand if you meant just the sciences, but do you think you can do that well in your humanities classes too?
I'll certainly try. If I don't get perfect scores in all of them, I'll make sure to attend class, and I'll take extra classes to make up the grade. You can also revoke my permission to research here. Will that be acceptable?
That deal puts you at a disadvantage. Are you already throwing in the towel? You know what? Sure, give it a go. I'll make sure you get the credits if you can get full marks.
Don't try to take it back either. Here, I'll put it in writing. And also, you have to agree to the same conditions moving forward as well. If I get full marks in my exams, you'll stop bothering me about attendance.
Well, alright. I don't mind a little big talk, but you better get the scores to back it up.
I understand. And I just wrote up a contract detailing what we agreed on. Will you sign it? I'd also like you to submit it to the principal. There you go.
Ugh, fine. But if you can't do it, then you still have to stick to the terms.
Of course I'll comply. And now, I think we're done.
You know we got 100.
I heard you struck a deal with our teacher, Tokyo.
I wouldn't really call it a deal. I just wanted to focus on my research, so I tried to end the conversation as quickly as possible.
Still, you must have been confident. Getting 100s in all subjects isn't easy, yet you managed to pull it off.
Of course I was confident. I wouldn't have brought it up otherwise.
I thought as much. And I can imagine why you used our exams for the terms. You thought it'd be a pain to get the credits for each individual class. So you made it so you got it all out of them in one fell swoop, isn't that right?
Perhaps.
Fucking cute, and you knew we did it.
Tokyo's thoughts.
This flower crystal. That's beautiful. I never thought of the crystals like this. I've gotten some when we defeated vectors before, but I just saw them as objects. But now, I see them as something else. It's no mystery as to why. Taiki left this behind. I only knew him for about a week, but I considered him a friend. Just looking at this flower crystal makes me feel so empty. That's proof enough. Every time I look at it, it reminds me of the time I spent with Taiki and the fact that he's never coming back. Maybe she was right.
I don't think you're as okay with this as you say you are.
This has hit me harder than I thought it would. Killing vectors was like nothing until now. I didn't think I'd ever feel this way. These emotions are so strange. Ever since she joined us, I've been experiencing all these emotions I didn't know I had. I get it now. Finally understand how she felt when she had to kill her own friend. She's been suffering, but when we had to take down Taiki, she was worried about me. She saw I was going through the same thing and didn't leave me alone. She's so kind. Kind and pure. I care about her. I want to support her always. Never felt like this before. A phone call. Oh, it's Ayamu. Hello? Oh, right. You called yesterday. Forgot to call you back. I'm in the camera up right now, but I'll be leaving soon. There's somewhere I have to go. Yeah, sorry. I'll fill you in after I think things through. When the time comes, will you listen to what I have to say? Huh? What do you mean, naturally? Why are you mad? I'm not really sure why, but... Sorry. I'll call you later. Bye. Ew. William was really worried. I haven't seen him since I got back, and I didn't call him either. Well, I guess it isn't the first time he's been worried about me. He's always been like that. I just didn't realize it. And that's with Ayamu was really close to me. I really am dense.
Aw, he's so sweet. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because, like, we already, in the daily, okay. So now unknown, we're not done, we haven't do those. And then top secret, Tokyo investigation. Internal investigation report, file 1, Tokyo Takado.
What? I should start with my personal info. I'm Tokyo Takado, and I'm a second year in high school. My birthday's April 10th. My family consists of my parents. Not on bad terms with them, but they're more like colleagues than family. I don't have any siblings. Oh, Well, I've been with Ayumu since we were kids. He's technically a childhood friend, but he's also like a brother.
They never gave anything to Tokyo's backstory at all. I mean, we got it from Ayumu, which I guess so we didn't really need it in his route, but like if you did his route before they'd be like, he has no backstory. Everybody else gives you a little bit of something about them, and he's got nothing.
By the way, my birthday comes before his, so it's like I'm the oldest and he's my little brother. Huh? You don't think so? Well, whatever. But I'll have you know I look out for him a lot. What's the next question? You want me to talk about my upbringing? I'd say it was ordinary.
I don't know about that.
My parents are basically stuck in the research district, so I grew up there. Ayumu and I both had to train our powers.
You don't think that's ordinary?
Well, I don't know what to tell you. It was normal for me. I don't know how else to describe it. About my powers. So you just want to know if I act a certain way when I'm transformed? Not really. I don't purposely change my personality. You say I speak differently as Kaori, but I'm more energetic. Oh. Well, that's probably because I want to end our battles as quickly as possible.
He definitely is more energetic as Kaori.
I want to finish up, go home, and sleep. My missions usually take place at night, you see. Also, I'm senior in everyone except for Ayumu, so I take initiative and give out orders. It affects the way I speak, and since I have to talk a lot, it can come off as me acting different. With regards to hypnosis, I think it's convenient. But I'm more careful with it now. I used to use it without reservation, and it overwrite the memories of anyone who happened to see the vectors. My way of thinking's changed a bit. I don't have the right to mess with people's memories, even if that memory proves to be a bitter one.
Well, that could also kind of explain why everybody is like, what? Vectors, monsters? And like there's rumors, but no, it's because he's been wiping memories. Fair enough, duh. Okay, and then... Oh, Void, and that should be the last one. Oh, Bird, Jesus.
Is that it? Alright, you can leave now. Yeah, she's gonna be here soon. Who you ask? What do you care? Okay, bye. He's finally gone. I hope he doesn't run into her in the hallway. What am I even saying? I never felt like this before. It's like this when I think about her talking to someone else. I get kinda angry, but I think about it, it's fine when it's like Ayumu talks to other people. And I feel fine when she talks to her girlfriends. When she talks to other guys, even Ayumu, makes me feel gloomy. That only happens when she talks to other men. Is this? There's no need to verify it. My answer's plain. I'm jealous. That's not cool. Was I always like this? What's that? There's something where he was sitting. A voice record. It's still recording! I should delete that last part before he comes back for it.
Aww, napping in the grass. That's so adorable. Aww. Okay, well that was it. Yeah, because then everything else is the Void ones. Oh, there's several. Oh, interesting. Because, you know, these are the other top secrets for the two that we're missing. We're going to have the Voids for them, and then there's two after. So I wonder if we get the Professor and, the Commander. Because we know they've got, like, secret stuff. Do they think they've got... No, I mean, like, other... Yeah, we've got several other, like... So here are two new CGs. Like, you know, for a bad CG, at least it's pretty. Some of the other ones, you're like, oh, they're kind of horrible and tragic. And this one's like, aw. It's kind of like, he looks sad, but it's still pretty. You know what I mean? But this one's kind of adorable. Although, to be fair, it's still not one of my favorites for, like, the new ones. You know, I gotta be honest, I still like this one a little bit better because he's got his little glasses on. You know? Like, we usually use one of the newer ones, especially, like, the end one, but I think it was Yukonami's. Yukonami had one of the best and, like, last CGs after the Void thing. Like, after this, it was, like, one of the best ones. Like, but... Like, I still like this one, because look at his glasses. He's adorable with his glasses. Anyway, so there you go. Tokyo's route. So, we will do Ibuki's route next, because I believe that's next in the list. Let me get to our list. Yeah. And then... Oh, wait. Oh, and then there's Rio. And then there's a grand finale. Okay. So... All right. But I'm assuming the grand finale isn't, like, super long. It's probably just, like, a short kind of thing. So anyway, but we are going to do Ibuki next. So, cool. Looking forward to that. For you, that's tomorrow. And for me, it might be a little while because we have got... I think, well, when this one goes up, I think we're doing a short little interim thing. But then we have a new game starting in our next time slot. And I haven't gotten it yet, actually. It should be in my mail now, but it's a little late to go get it, so... but I might have to start recording that, and since we're starting a new game, it means a lot of time, so... It might be like a couple of days or whatever, or maybe a week before I get back to this, as opposed to I've been kind of banging them out pretty fast because these ones are short. So, as I'm starting to finally catch up and get like, now like, okay, like, oh my God, I'm like 2 weeks ahead finally. Like, as I'm starting to get more ahead, like, you know, it's good because now I'm gonna like, you know, whatever. I'm not going back and forth like a couple parts of this, a couple parts of that. Like I'm getting back into my normal of doing like a whole route of one game and a whole route of another game. But now we have to start a whole other game. So, you know, so I'm probably going to be spending a little bit of time on doing as much of that as possible. So for you tomorrow, the next route will start and I'll be like, you know the standard. I'll be like, it's been like a week. I don't remember anything. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.